Winter is upon us, and that means more rain, less sun, colder weather. Each of these different problems have been addressed in this video in order to prepare me for the winter ahead. Yeah, temperatures have started to drop down significantly, and I found that during the night I'll end up with about 8-9 degrees in the cab, which isn't so bad. I don't mind sleeping in the cold, but my concern has always been water tanks. Generally what you do is you park your motorhome up for the winter and you empty the tank so they don't crack when the water expands due to it freezing. But I can't do that because I'm constantly living in it. I was a bit sketched out by having the propane heater, this one right here, running overnight. It's a very old system and I'm still not quite sure of its reliability yet. Done is I've fitted a cheap Chinese diesel heater that I can run overnight and keep the cabin at least above zero to stop the water from freezing. Now there's been some problems that come around with this, and the installation was not simple. Unfortunately I didn't take any footage of it because I was scrambling around to do it, but I've got some photos of the installation. I'll put those on screen. Control panel under the seat. Yeah, I had to do an upgrade to my battery system in order to accommodate the diesel heater. So under here I've had to add some better battery. Under here I've had to add some bigger bus bars to accommodate all the new cabling. Before, this was just quick release onto the battery. Add new bus bars in, add some fuses for the diesel heater, and I've wired in the solar controller better. Mega fuses and stuff installed here because they had some old wire strips for the fuses. Just generally upgraded everything and made it a bit safer. Cabling isn't great, but it gets the job done. A bit like electronic spaghetti. Down here I've got some, here is a breaker for the diesel heater and a 20 amp fuse on that. And I had to buy some, oh, and it's like fused here. I had to buy some thicker wire because I had too much voltage drop trying to originally connect it. But that's all sorted now. Works like a charm. So what I've done is, after some careful consideration, I've put the output pipe for the diesel heater in a central location within the cab, under the step that I'm currently sat on, where the table sits above. There's a hollow area that already contains a heater matrix. Uses coolant from the engine, similar to your normal heater system in the front. Pumps hot water or hot coolant back here, and then there's a fan under here that can pump it in and so circulate around the motorhome. I managed to get enough space in there to put the hot air output from the diesel heater. I ended up having to use my side locker and put the diesel heater in there and have air drawn from the underneath the step inside the cab down in. It gets heated up down in the heater and then pumped back into the cab. So a bit more efficient than just pulling air from outside and then heating it and pumping it back in and sort of recirculate the already hot air. The installation was horrible. Obviously I had to drill big holes in the side of the in the motorhome, which was scary as hell. Thanks to my brother for helping me out with that. So as you can see here, I've got this little remote control panel for controlling the diesel heater. This allows me to set static temperature mode, so I can have it set to always be between 10 and 30 degrees in the cab. I can have it set to turn on and turn off at certain hours, so timers. And I think there's I don't know, I think that's it actually. But yeah, it's a really simple one. It was like £85 on eBay. So I don't expect to get a massive amount of life out of it, but it should last me a winter or two. If I find it's an absolute necessity piece of kit, I can always order in a better one and install that. It also comes with a cool remote control. As you can see here, this allows me to turn the temperature up or down, or the power mode up or down, or turn it on and off remotely. This is fantastic because I can turn it on and off in my bed without having to get out. Another annoying problem I had is that my awning, the bolts that mount to the side of the motorhome, were leaking. I stopped for a nice cup of tea, obviously, as you do after midway through my work day. At my lunch break, I reached into this cupboard up here. And just behind here at the very back wall, I noticed some water dripping down the back. I'm like, oh god, here we go. I took a little panel off in the back there, and I saw that that's where the awning had bolted in, and obviously water was coming down, getting on the bolt. The bolt had rusted and was pulling water in through, and the original seals had gone. My original plan, I'd bought some replacement hardware kit to refit the awning. I was going to take it off, dry all the holes, fill them with silicone, put new bolts in, new seals, all of that, and remount the awning. It turned out that I just couldn't be asked to refit it. I'm not going to lie. I'd used the awning like twice in the 6-7 months that I've owned it. And yeah, I was just so frustrated with the process of taking it off. I recruited a mate of mine, Ben, to help me take it off, and we were out there for hours trying to figure it out. Got it off in the end because they'd made a custom channel of aluminum channel that ran across the entire length of the motorhome, and then riveted the awning to it. It was an off-the-shelf solution, and I just couldn't be asked to put it back together. One of Ben's mates was doing a conversion and needed an awning for the official conversion, so luckily I just gave it to him, and he can make better use of it. What's good is obviously now I have 30-40 kilograms of weight reduction. Europe's a bit more stricter on the weight rules than we are in the UK. I think we have a better allowance, so I'm gonna have to keep my weight in check, and of course the motorhomes as well. There was 5 different bolts. You can see them like here. Behind here in this cupboard, so I've got a cupboard above the heater. I had to detach the cupboard in the bathroom to get to some more bolts behind there. So I basically had to disassemble half the fucking motorhome to get the awning off. Once I did that, with a hairdryer and a dehumidifier, I dehumidified it overnight. Got a hairdryer in and sort of dried the holes where the moisture had been coming through, and then used some Sikaflex either side, from the inside out and the outside in, and just sealed up. You can see on the outsides there's remnants of silicone. I've yet to excuse the dirt. I've yet to clean it, but at least the motorhome is now watertight again. During the day the sun is lower. The sun the sun shows up for less hours a day. It gets darker towards the end of the day, and that just means like less power. I'm really struggling with the flat mounted top panels, even though I've got 600 watts. On a good day I'm getting like 150 watts out of them, whereas in peak summer I was getting the full 600 watts. Really starting to struggle. I'm having to go to campsites more, so what I ended up doing is just buying this 400 watt foldable solar panel. This can be plugged into the alternator charger, the same port, so I unplug the alternator charger cable and plug it in there, and so I still have both panels charging up at the same time. You can see it's not charging. Of course, it's like massive. Yeah, as I'm talking about solar panel, the sun is now covered up in clouds. Typical. Also, in the next month, I'm planning a trip to Spain for a month. So stay tuned and subscribe and have a watch of that.